welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about improvisation again, and we're going to start with improvising with one note, which is a melody, or one voice, and just think in do I want to go up, or do I want to go down, and do I want to take small steps, take jumps. And that's pretty much it when you make a melody. And think in phrases. Think 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. So like 3 down and 3 up. Now you have an answer, a question, maybe with a variation. And an answer. Try to use both hands. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we can take the same rhythmic motif and make new phrases. 1, 2, 3. So now we have you can either go up or down and up, or you can go round. These little circles. So phrases that go both down and up. These are the most complex ones. It's a very complex phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That could be a very long phrase. Now let's try and make 2 voices. And a good idea here could be trying to hit some of the most important harmonies, like thirds. So we have a third below, and a third below, and a third below. And we have the minor thirds, and we have the major thirds. We have 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. That's a minor third. Or we have 1, 2, 3. It's a major third. 1, 2, 3. And there's a lot of thirds in harmony. That's one of the most common harmonies. We can also have fifths, but not as often. We have parallel fifths. In classical music, but you can sure do it in modern. But it's very common to have these parallel thirds. We can also play with fourths. It's also really exciting harmony. What about sixths? This is a sixth. And then you can harmonize each note, or you can harmonize every other note. Every third. So like you have 3 against 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Or you can turn it around so you have 3 against 1 in the other hand. That's like the basics of 2 voices, and let's try and take it a bit further. against 1, but interchange, so like left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And that will probably sound like a little bit of a lot of 2s. And maybe we can mix some 2s and some 3s. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's a really nice motive. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We can go with drone notes. That's pretty much like having a motive and then changing the harmonic bass notes. So we like have a motive in the right hand, and then we maybe try that over different bass notes. This was again the 4 against 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I changed it up with a little 1 against 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a lot of ideas here. Can we go with 3 voices at the same time? This is a bit tricky. Now we need to think a little bit in chords here. We can go. Maybe like have a third below and a melody on top. That's a really sparing way of playing chords. And of course I know if I'm playing in F sharp, and we have a 1 chord, a 2 chord, a 3 chord, a 4 chord, a 5 chord, and a 6 chord, and a 7 chord. So it helps knowing a little bit of your scales and your chords. And a little way to, a little cheat to find your scales is like finding the neighbor chords. The 1 chord is F sharp, the 5 chord is C sharp, and the 4 chord is a minor 4. We have 1, 2, 3, a sharp 4, but in regular major sound we have a flat or a natural 4. So we have the 4 chord is B. So the main, all these 3 major chords, the 1, the 4, and the 5. Maybe we could think of the 4 below, B below, F sharp in the middle, and C sharp on top. This is a B major 9, 11, B major 11 chord. This is all the notes that are closely related to F sharp. So if we stack them up close, then we have the entire scale here. We have C sharp, F sharp, B, C sharp, and maybe take the top note down so we have it nicely stacked here. 5 comes from the 5. And the 6 comes from the 4. I mean, the 6th note in the scale comes from the 4 chord, which is the subdominant. And the 7th note of the scale comes from the 5 chord. So we have like the 1 is F sharp, the 2 is C sharp, the 3 is F sharp, the 4 is B, the 5 is C sharp, the 6 is B, the 7 is C sharp. So all the scale notes are like one of these, the 1, the 4, and the 5 chord. This is a very nice to know if we are improvising in a key. So we can go to E. And know that the 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, is A, and the 5 chord is B. Also learn the major scale, that is 1, 2, 3 whole notes, half note, whole note, whole note, whole note. So you pretty much only need to think that a scale, major scale, is only whole notes, which means you skip one note. Doesn't matter if it's black or white. It's a whole step, it's a half step, whole step, half step. So we go. The only half step is between the 3 and the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just a 1 to a 4 to a 4 minor. It's one of my favorite chord changes, the 4 minor, to the 5, to the 4, to the 1. And another thing that melodies really like is to target the chord notes. So if we're in E, then we really like to target the 1 or the 3 or the 5. If we're going to A, then let's take a note from A. So we go 1, 2, 3, and 1, and this is a new note. This comes from the 4 chord. And this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th note comes from the 5 chord. Can also be in the 3 chord, if we think in parallel chords. So the 3 chord is related to the 5, it's the parallel to the 5. It also means that all the notes that are nice in B, in this case, also works in G sharp minor. So now we have gone from 1 note melodies, 1 voice, to 2 voices, to 3 voices and triads. If we want to go outside of this world, then we can go into the modal realm, where we can change the in-key sounds, like the 1 and the 4 and the 5, and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 5 and the 6 and the 7. Which is sometimes called diminished chord, but I would like to think of it as like an inverted 5 chord. Then we can take some of these chords and then flip them, so like the 2 chord can always be a major chord instead of a minor chord. So this is a really spicy way out of the key. We've played in E major for a while. Major has a flat 4. This A is the flat 4. But we can raise that 4 and go into the realm of the major 2. So now I went into the 2 chord, but not minor, but major. So we get the A sharp. Also go into the 3 chord and make it major. And the major 3 goes really nice into the major 4. exercise, then you should go out there and try to really limit yourself to just playing with one note at a time. And think about this, we have a 1, we have a 2, we have a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and all the other notes but the 1 can be major or minor. So we have 1, 2, 3, this is a very minor sound, Phrygian, the flat 2. We can have a sharp 2, and a sharp 3, and a sharp 4. And we only go sharp notes, then we have whole tone scales. So it's very, very mysterious, ethereal sounding. We can go half steps, whole steps, half steps, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. I kind of forgot the name of this scale, but it's a very minor scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. It's an 8th note scale. So it's some kind of dominant scale. So these are the exceptions, but the 5 is typically just a 5. You don't have a you could have a raised 5 or a flat 5. Yeah, it can actually be that too. It can be a bit overwhelming to improvising with all 12 notes. So when you are only playing with a melody, it's often about finding the notes that are really central to whatever note you start on. So maybe look at the black notes if you need something easier. Here you have the pentatonic scale, which is really good for beginners. You can always just play around with the pentatonic scale. We have a whole note, and we don't really have a 4. We have 1, 2, 3, no 4 in the pentatonic scale. We have 5 and a 6, and no 7 in the pentatonic scale. And this is no coincidence, because the 4 and the 7 are usually the most complex notes in a major scale. So those are out of the picture in the pentatonic scale. Enough theory. Have fun with these exercises and have a lovely day. See you on the channel.